Hey there, Rocketeers. It is Charlie Rocketeer. Hello, hello. It is Tuesday, Tip Tuesday to be exact. And today I was kind of reflecting on what the tip should be. What should I be talking about today? But you know what? Recently I went to a women's march in Raleigh. And I also have seen a lot of issues in the media. And it made me really think that I should be talking about standing up for what is right. You know, what you believe is right. Now, a woman at the Women's March spoke primarily to white women and said that if you feel that you are a feminist and you feel as though you are here to fight for women as a whole, then you should be fighting for women of color. You should help women of color as well. And in her message, she also said that means that you are standing up for black children the way you would stand up for your children. You would be standing up for black people the way you would stand up for your people, the way you would stand up for your own children, your own sister, your own family, your own friends. And that all boils down to standing up for what's right, regardless of if you are directly involved or not. This is a concept that's like super difficult because I know sometimes we got to pick and choose our battles, right? We can't fight every single battle, every single thing that we feel is unjust. We can't always fight them all because we may, I guess, wear ourselves thin and wear ourselves down, and we're constantly fighting and we're not enjoying life. But you know what? Sometimes these issues are brought to you and in front of you for you to help, for you specifically to help. Sometimes it's in your destiny to help these people. And, especially, I'm going to say white women, white men, people who are considered allies. You guys are allies because sometimes it takes your voice to make a difference. Okay, black people and people of color have been fighting fights for a very long time, but it takes those allies in order to change the narrative. It takes all of us linking together. It takes all of us helping one another, speaking out, and really fighting, not just talking, but actually sacrificing something. There's too many times that black people speak out and we are reprimanded for that. We lose jobs, we lose, state of mind. There's too many times where suddenly people don't want to hang out with you anymore. They don't want to hear your whole thing about how racism exists, blah blah blah. And you know what? All it takes is bringing up racism or even correcting somebody when they are doing something that is inappropriate or that can feel degrading, and in correcting that person, you've made every white person uncomfortable, or every person who doesn't understand that struggle has now become uncomfortable and then feels the need to say that problem doesn't exist, or that you're exaggerating, or that something is wrong with you. And all it takes is an ally to correct that person and say, well, you haven't experienced those experiences. You cannot tell somebody how to feel when they've been living that life. It takes an ally to say, you're wrong for this. Constantly having to stand up for what is right as a woman of color is exhausting. It really is. Because I'm standing up for women's rights. I'm standing up for the rights of people of color. I'm standing up for all minorities, basically, And so white women, especially, to be ignored by white women, or to see white women see your struggle and to a degree understand your struggle, because being a woman alone is already so difficult. And then to ignore the struggles of people of color is ridiculous. And I feel like you just visually seeing it and knowing it's wrong is not enough. You staying silent is not enough. The tip for today is to stand up for what you believe is right. If you're seeing something happening that is wrong, it's not enough that you message your only black friend to tell them, I saw this and it's wrong. It's not enough for you to feel that it's wrong. It's not enough for you to just acknowledge. We need you to start making posts about it. We need you to start finding ways to right these wrongs. We need you to correct them when you see them. When you see those things happening, say something to someone. Stand up for that person because they're tired of standing up for themselves. And because they don't want to be known as the angry black woman, the angry whatever woman, the minority woman who is starting a whole thing about nothing, you know? We're tired of doing that. And if you are to say something for us, sometimes that can change somebody's entire day, you know? Be careful though. Be careful though, because if you know the person, if you're friends with the person and you ask them, hey, should I say something about this? Or if you say something about a situation and they tell you not to make it a big deal, sometimes you shouldn't. If it's a work environment, sometimes you making it a big deal for them still looks poorly upon them, which is not your fault, it's not their fault, but like really step lightly, but like ask a friend how you can help, you know? Ask a friend of color and take their advice for real. Do what they say for real. Don't just be like, well, I've decided that this is what's best. That's you again deciding to be the voice of reason when I'm sure the person of color knows more so what's really up. So talk to your friends, stand up for what's right deep down in your heart. Seriously, don't do the I'm standing up because it makes me feel better about myself. Don't do that. Don't do the I'm a white savior or I'm solving my white guilt. Don't do any of that. Do what's actually right. What deep down inside actually feels right. Alright, Rocketeers, it's rough, but you know what? If you don't have a friend of color to ask, you can always DM me. Hit me in the DMs. I don't speak for all people of color by any means. Okay? But at least you have somebody, you know? Alright, guys. Adios.